This is Paul McLarney from Ungovernable Films, and you're listening to Without Your Head.
All right, we're back. We welcome Scott Goldberg back to Without Your Head.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Yeah, welcome back to the show. Thanks for coming back on.
No problem, guys.
Yeah, usually when people come back on this year, we're never coming back on, but...
Well, it's a good opportunity, and I thought it would be great to come back on and talk to you guys about filmmaking. So if anyone has any questions, they could call in.
You brought up something to me a while back that, you'd like to come on if any aspiring filmmakers or just fans would like to call in and ask a question about, how to get into filmmaking on any type of level, I guess. They call in and ask you. What would we just like? If you just want to give like a quick word of advice to someone that was interested in getting into filmmaking, what would it be?
I guess it should be to make sure that this is truly what you want to do.
Mm-hmm.
Tough road, especially if people are doing this for the wrong reasons. It's going to be a very long road, and the best thing is to be consistent and just remember that your first film isn't going to be a film. It's always going to be an evolution. Like, my first films, for example, they suck. I still think my films suck. I keep on working hard, keep on, putting forth the effort. I'm a filmmaker to become better at the craft. So I think networking, getting your films out, the film festivals is very important, and just trying to get better. And do not cast your friends in any of these, in any of your projects, because most of the time they're very unreliable. So.
Right. Yeah. Have you had any bad experience with that? Have you lost any friends because of something like that?
No, not necessarily lose friends, but just to have them lose interest in the filmmaking process. So.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
what are you saying, John?
There. I was just wondering, when you first got into making films, did you think it'd be as hard as it was?
No, I had a VHS camera that I'd shoot with. I just shoot around, and being that I was 17, 16 years old when I was doing this, I really didn't know what to expect. I just thought, get a camera and shoot. I didn't know anything about sound equipment. I didn't know anything about lighting, about grips, about any of those things that you encounter on a bigger production. So I didn't know about any of this. So as I went along, I started to learn, and I learned more and more. So I think as the time progressed, I learned much more, and I think that's what a lot of aspiring filmmakers are going to do. They're going to go through a lot of hardships. There's a lot of tough times ahead. So just keep on doing what you're doing. Be persistent, and if you truly love it, then I think you'll stick with it.
Right, like you said, if you truly love it, then you would probably enjoy learning everything you can about making your films better and better, all the technical side.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then there's also a lot of ups and downs as well. I mean, one day you're editing a film and you're on top, you're like, oh, this is great, I just got some music for my film, I'm editing this, and then like the next day you're like, wow, my film really sucks. But I think that's the I think it's like a double-edged sword in a way, because you kind of see your film as like, it's going good, but then you kind of seen a lot of improvements and maybe little mistakes here and there that maybe you wish you could have redone. But I guess you just take it as it is, and you move on to the next project. Or if you have the budget, you go back and reshoot some sequences.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it really depends.
How much stock should you put in someone else's opinion? If you make something and you really think it's good, but you show someone else and they just say it's terrible, is that something you should take to heart, or?
No, everyone has opinions, and that's what the critics do. All they do is, most of them, if not all of them, are not filmmakers, so they don't know the blood, sweat, and tears that goes into a production, making a film, and such as the long hours, especially doing an independent production and editing and writing and promoting and doing all of these aspects of filmmaking. So it's easy to critique final product and what you see, but as a filmmaker, you also have to understand that is what you're putting out to people. So you have to be ready for the critics.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, if you can't take it, then you're in the wrong business.
Someone that you've actually worked with a couple times now is Paul Kratka.
Yes.
How did you meet him? How did you get in contact with him?
I sent a couple emails for my for the day they came back. I have sent out an email with Ken Forey, Paul Kratka, and I believe Galen Roth, and now someone in the sequences as a detective in the film, actually in Larry Zerner as well. I sent the emails out to them, and I'd want to, put them in my film, some sort of alumni from a horror film. And it's funny, Ken Furry got back to me like 2 years later. When are you shooting? Let me know about it. I'm like, I already shot it. But no, so Paul took interest, and I was originally going to have a couple of detectives in the room for the interrogation scenes for the day they came back. But Paul had replied, and we talked, and I accommodated his schedule. He came out, and we had a good time. And we actually worked on a film, Illuminated, together last month in May here in New York. And it was interesting because I remember doing the film. I remember having evolved as a filmmaker, I think, compared to 2005 when I was very scared because, he was this Friday 13th alumni, a quote-unquote star in my eyes. And coming out to do a no-budget film in the middle of nowhere on Long Island in a cabin, I could only imagine what was going through his head. But so when we shot the studio in May for Illuminated, it was much more professional setting, I feel. So I think I learned a lot as well.
Did it make you feel proud that he came back and did something with another film with you? Since like you said, I mean, it isn't a big budget or no budget film, as you put it.
Exactly. I think what he really loves is the relentless promoting, as he says that I do, and also he likes to work on films. He wanted to work on a film that was not a horror film, and Illuminated is more of a political themed short film rather than a horror film. Of course, it's got the full horror elements, but he said he wanted to come back. I said, Paul, doing a film shoot in May. Would you like to come down? He's like, yeah, let's do it. And I accommodated him. And he came down, and it was fun because, I had always wondered what it would be like to work with him 2-3 years later after doing the first film. And so it was an interesting experience. We hung out. We had some dinner in the city, and him and I had food, so we had some raw food. I don't know if guys know what that is. It's more like it's uncooked, but it's really interesting. You guys should look it up. Anyway, we had so it was interesting, this time around. It was much more different than back in 2005.
For anybody out there who doesn't know, you want to explain what Illuminated is about? Yeah,
it's basically about the New World Order. I guess you call the Illuminati. A bunch of elitists who run the world. And so basically, Paul plays the narrator in the film, and this man, played by Robert Youngren, is just wakes up in this alternate dark reality, and all these things open up on him. Like he sees these concentration camps, up today, internment camps, and he sees the September 11th attacks happening. So it's very politically based, and it has a lot of interesting and controversial subjects in it. So it's a short film, and actually right now I'm working on a feature length. So
the same movie.
It's called Dying for Change is what the title is. It's about the 9/11 Truth Movement here in New York. The organization called We Are Change, who's trying to spread the alternative news out to the American people. It's been pretty interesting. They have a sign that says 9/11 was an inside job, and they hold it up every Saturdays at Ground Zero in New York City. And it's so interesting with people's reactions. It's so mixed. And to capture them in the documentary, I find is very interesting because I'm able to capture history in a way. Here these guys are and what they believe, and then you have a bunch of other people who are saying, this is bullshit, this is crap, what are you guys talking? They're really getting mad. But what they do is they say, well, let's discuss it. And they have facts to base it, to base their facts upon what they're saying. So when people are saying something to them, they just throw the facts right back out. So I think it's very interesting in seeing where this goes as a documentary. So I've been shooting that for a couple of weeks, and I think there's a lot of corruption, and I think art is one of the good ways to go about that and trying to expose that corruption.
Have you gotten any serious backlash from any groups or anything because of the subject matter?
No, I mean, I was shooting, and whenever you shoot a documentary, you try to kind of step away from from taking one side or the other. But there was this lady, actually, we were shooting in New York, and this lady was like, "Are you a part of them too? Are you crazy? Are you Jewish? You sure do act like a stinking Jew." And I'm like, and she wasn't talking to me, she's talking to these other guys. And I was like, and she's like, "Is that all you do, take pictures?" And so that upset me. And I was like, "No, man, I actually am a filmmaker. What do you do?" And she's, crazy kooky woman, like in her 70s. And then she just turns around and walks away. Well, we go back and forth. But it's like they get so mad at themselves, and then they want to, blame it on someone who's just shooting something. I'm just shooting. I'm there to document. That's what I'm there to do. If someone's getting in my face, of course, part of me wants to walk away, but I'll at least say what I want. Hey, it's New York City,
Right. Where can we see Illuminated?
Illuminated will be in festivals later this year. It'll also be online, of course, YouTube or whatever other website get it on, maybe like Google Video and whatnot. So,
right.
But all the short films will be available on a DVD after Son of Horror Business comes out.
Oh, cool. The Son of Horror Business, anyone doesn't know, the original one was The Horror Business, which came out in 2007. I mean, last year, didn't it come out last year? And this one comes out at the end of the year?
Correct.
Mm-hmm.
Correct. I think it might be some point early next year. So, but Chris has been working on that film, and I have a lot of faith in him and what he does. I actually look up to him a lot because he's kind of like a big brother to me. Because I feel, he's doing what he needs to do to get it done. He works from night till dawn, from day to night, just working on his projects. And he's so passionate about it. He is a true filmmaker. He has seen over thousands of films, all different types of films. I wish when I'm Chris's age, I will be able, he's a couple of years older than me, I'm 25, so I wish when I'm his age that I'm able to have seen at least half of the films he's seen, because he is a true filmmaker. Mm-hmm. He's a true fan of the movies. So I wish to be where he is, and I'm just trying to follow his toes and his steps and stuff, and what he's doing. He's got a film there, and so him and I talk, and he gives me some support and tells me positive things. So it's a good working relationship.
Do you think that's a good movie for indie directors to see, or the horror business?
Yes, Horror Business is very excellent because it actually talks about these filmmakers who love horror films and what they try to do to get the word out about the horror films, that they're doing and promoting. And Chris, I'm sure will talk more, better about the film because, I don't really want to go talking about film, but I've seen the film. I have it on DVD. Mm-hmm. You can pick it up, any store basically. You got Ron Atkins, you got Dave Stagnari, and a bunch of other filmmakers, and you even got cameos from some people like Tony Timpone and Joe Bob Briggs. So I found it very interesting, and I told Chris, I'm like, Chris, I had watched this back in January of '06, and then 2 months later, because I got a screen copy, I'd watched it again. I said, Chris, it's like, wow, it's like an old friend. It's like a retro film. The music, the way it's shot, the way it's edited, I think it all comes together. And he appreciated that, Mm-hmm. I mean, if people really want to see something that will stand the test of time, I think that Horror Business is one of those documentaries. So, and Chris is proud of it, and I can see why.
Do you have a question, John?
Yeah, we actually have a question from the chat room here. Knight Rider, he wants to know, what are your thoughts on Hostel 2?
I have not seen Hostel 2 yet. I've seen the little Hostel 1, but I've seen Hostel 2, so I'm sorry I cannot comment on that, Knight Rider, but maybe I'll check it out.
All right.
When it comes to DVD or something.
Is there any movies out there that you would you'd like to recommend? Any recent movies? Besides
Horror Business, I mean, I know Chris has got me into this kind of stuff. Alejandro Jodorowsky, he has a box set out, a bunch of his films, The Holy Mountain, El Topo. You guys need to check it out. It is really influenced a lot of people such as Chris and many others. And his films were basically banned here in the United States, and now they finally came out. Abco Films put it out. It's a box. It's out. You can buy it now for like $40. a bunch of his films, and they're just so interesting. You know, you have, like, let's say, these children lying on the floor, and they're all, like, tied up, and these people are shooting them in the hearts, and then birds fly out. And, you know, you have, like, these women dancing with these guys in gas masks. And it's like, you know, all these weird and different things. And then the director, Alejandro Jodorowsky, he actually makes love to his actresses on screen. You know, like they'll keep on filming, and he'll start making out with the leading woman. It's so funny and free, and that's how I think filmmaking should be. It's supposed to be free.
Director's dream right there, man.
Hanging out with your actresses, but
Right. Let's say there's maybe some ulterior motives here for Scott Goldberg in the filmmaking business.
No. There are some people that I know that do have alternative motives like that, and I think it's a shame because, you know, filmmaking should be for the art of what you want to do as a filmmaker. It shouldn't be to get laid. It shouldn't be for this, that. It should really be for what you truly love. So, you know, there are some people that are doing it because they want to call themselves filmmakers. I'm not going to name names or anything, but there are a select few that call themselves filmmakers just to feel good about themselves and call them a filmmaker. And they're going to see that they're, you know, that they're in for a long, tough journey. But for all those people who are aspiring to be filmmakers, if you want to do it, go ahead, and God bless you all, because it's very tough. And I'm not where I need to be right now. I still think it sucks, but, you know, and at least I'll admit it.
Right.
You know.
Like
so it's
you go on.
So it's tough, you know.
Mm-hmm. I'll say you said you didn't see Hostel 2, but there was one thing that Eli Roth has brought up. He's saying that he blames a lot of, like, the film not doing so well that it was leaked out on the internet. Do you think that is something that does hurt movies at the theater, and that when they get leaked on the internet for people to legally download?
I honestly think if people are sick of these types of films, torture films, and these remakes,
Mm-hmm.
so I think those are going to die pretty quickly, and a lot of people who I know also think that. So, yeah, I mean, if you think it, if you agree with them, then that's luck to you, I guess.
Yeah, I actually agree with that, because basically, if you want to, I mean, you can go out and download. You can find a way to download just about any of these movies you want to. So I don't see how that could really have hurt any movie.
Well, one day he was on
general.
Fangoria Radio, and he pretty much told everybody there was a leaked copy. So, I mean, Jesus Christ. He should know when to keep his mouth shut on that one. But
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
but, you know...
You on.
Sorry, go on.
No, you on.
Well, I'm just saying, you know, Eli Roth, you know, he's I don't even know what to say about it. You know, I've seen Cabin Fever. I've seen a little of it. It was okay. I've seen a little Hostel 2. You know, I didn't really like it as much. So, am I a fan of Eli Roth? Not really. I haven't really seen any of his films per se. I got full films, so I can't really make a judgment on what he said. But, you know, this has been going on for a long time. You know, especially with the mid-80s, 90s with Napster, you know, and pirating this music. You know, this has been happening for a while. And it's a shame, you know, but if people want to download... Here's what a band said, My Chemical Romance. They had said, you know, it's cool if people would download our music as long as they buy the CD. But with movies, I don't even know if that would happen. So it's a very touchy subject.
Well, I think maybe it would probably hurt a bad movie, and it could possibly help a good movie. Like, if people are downloading and say it's terrible, maybe other people are going to go see it. But if it would have been a good movie, I think people would have went to see it. You know, there would have been more word of mouth, and people would have went to see it. Yeah, and you'll always have critics as well, you know, and that's how the world goes. But you know, I think no one should really listen to critics. They should decide, you know, they should watch a trailer and say, you know, maybe I'll check this out, see what some people say, see the positive parts of it, see the negative parts, and check it out. If they don't want to check it out, they don't have to, you know. So I think that's the main thing, though. People just don't want to see films in the theater anymore. But that's the thing. You can experience so much more by seeing the film in the theater. And that's something I need to do more, is go see films. But there's really nothing that I've been interested in. The last film movie I've seen in the theater is The Fountain. Is what?
The Fountain.
Oh, okay.
By Darren Aronofsky. I thought it was really good. It was pretty interesting. And someone like that, I think, is the type of films that we need. It was more of an art thing compared to, like, let's say, Spider 3. I mean, it's entertaining, though. Spider 3 is entertaining, and you got always different films for different reasons, and so, that's what the movie business is about.
Mm-hmm. Did you have another question from the board there, John?
Actually, I had a question. I just wanted to know, throughout your film career thus far, what's been like your hardest shot that you've ever set up, and could you explain it?
Hardest shot I've ever set up. Well, using the Steadicam, or I guess you could call it the glide cam, which is like it's retarded brother. It's basically much smaller, and it's much more difficult to use, especially if you don't balance it out right. Using the glide cam, basically, there's like a harness that you wear, and you strap it around you to over your shoulders, and you buckle in on the sides, so it's basically a vest. And then there's like this little rig on it that you have to attach. It's like an arm, we call it. And this arm you can like push down on, and then you got to attach this rod with like a camera on top of it on a plate with weights on the bottom, and you got to kind of, and then you walk with it, and you got to kind of glide. It gives you like that, that free flowing motion. It was I forgot what the camera was called, but they used it in Halloween, similar type of thing with the opening shots. Yeah, so. So the glide cam was shocked, and it's tough to use, but you get used to it. So.
Panaglide.
Yeah, yep, that's the one, yep.
Yeah, I asked Dean Cundy about that when we had him on.
Yeah.
But you can check out it without your head.
Do you really need to plug the site? I think they know where it is.
You don't know the site that you're on right now. It's withoutyourhead.com.
We got a...
Stumbled in there, you never know.
Right. You can always check out Scott Goldberg, films.com as well.
Excellent. There you go.
That's right.
We got Old Haas on here. He's asking a question. He wants to know, would you ever consider making a series of short films about a single character?
About a what?
Like a single character, maybe like a Jason Voorhees or something like that.
I mean, it really depends. I mean, if I had the ability to produce it and do it effectively and do it the style that I want to do, let's say if a studio wanted to do it or put money into it, I'd have to really be able to have control over it. Editing and producing and directing and writing and have a big say in it, because I think the artistic vision is the most important thing, especially when you're working on a project. Now, for me to produce it myself, yes, if I weren't doing a lot of political films right now, I think I would do something like that. And I'm always interested in those films. I mean, they're what we've grown up on. Fred Krueger and Jason Voorhees, Michael Myers. I mean, so yeah. But right now, I'm just trying to make that speak to people. So we'll see how it goes. That is a very interesting question, and thank you for asking that. I'll look into that. So.
Something just came up recently was the movie Black Sheep. It's released at theaters and on IFC On Demand at the same time, so you guys should go see it, or you could not download. You can watch it on demand if you have digital cable. Do you think that's something that be more prevalent in the future? Like that's where independent films will be headed towards on demand at the same time when they're released at the theater?
Well, I think as young independent filmmakers, it's up to us to get the films out there ourselves. So a lot of filmmakers nowadays have been doing that, and I think the big studios and the companies and these television companies have been seeing this. So I think, and this is how a lot of other people think as well. As soon as these fads die out, then that's when they're going to look for the real filmmakers. And I'm going to stress again by saying that, I will not say this is my own thoughts, but merely something that I agree on. Because Chris, like I said, and I'll keep on talking about him, but he's been a big, influence on my filmmaking career and what I'm doing. Because if I had not met someone like Chris Garetano and listened to his opinions and where he wants to see my career, go, then I still think I'd be making zombie films. I wouldn't have branched off. Well, not necessarily zombie films, but, generic stuff, because I didn't see at the time that The Day They Came Back was basically a remake of other films, We don't have the budget for it, So why even do it? This is what's going to separate the real filmmakers from, I don't know, I guess you could not fake filmmakers, but the real filmmakers from the filmmakers who are just there to make these fads or make these remakes or make these films of today that are just because they want to, I want to, what's the word, pay tribute to George Romero or John Carpenter or Wes Craven. So I think that's an interesting way that Chris is looking at it and many others. So, I just want to make things that are original, and I feel like I'm starting to do that. So.
Do you think you'll gear yourself more towards the documentary range of stuff?
I think documentary is much more free, and it's kind of like, let's say, if you're doing a short film or something, you're planning out things, and there's still the planning feeling of it, but it's like there's no script. You as a filmmaker, as a director, have to kind of, I guess, get the words or get the thoughts out of from your subjects of what they're thinking at certain moments, especially if something happened. Like, for example, in Dying for Change, when like someone says something about like, this is total bullshit. This is a disgrace to the people who died here, to 3,000 lives. And then I think it's my job to go up to some of them and say, well, why do you think they react like that? And to cut that in the film, you have to know what you're doing. You can't just shoot blindly a documentary and not know what you're doing. You have to have a purpose for being at a certain location and knowing exactly what you need. So I think that's the most important thing is to know what you want and know what you need for a film.
Are there any other documentary makers that inspired you to in the way that you make your documentary?
No, I just I'm just trying not to make the same old thing that everyone else is making, because that's what's making money right now. People are doing the same exact thing because it's what is making money, and I don't want to do that. I want to do something different. I want to step away from that. I don't want to be the same old person who makes a zombie film and gives it to like Romero, and he's just like, whatever. Romero liked Horror Business because Chris gave him a copy, and he liked it, and he invited Chris to come out on his film set of Diary of the Dead because he loved Horror Business, because he thought it was unique. That's what I think it is now, I think filmmakers need to find their own vision and be unique about something and not try to woo their heroes by giving them a film, which is what I would have done as well, a zombie film, and say, hey, look, man, we did a zombie film, you're my hero, man, I want to this for you, brother, here you go. And it's like, it's kind of a slap in the face, quite honestly. So, I mean, uniqueness is the most important thing, I think.
One of our fans here, ZB, they said you always had a passion for horror films, but recently you seem to making movies with more political tone. Why the change, and what inspired you to make such a change?
I'm sick and tired of the media lying to everyone. Probably more than 50% of the media is lies, especially when they decide to do. I think it's more like a big circle. You have a bunch of news, and the media agglomerates, CNN, NBC, Fox, they tell you what they want you to hear. So you know what? I'm going to tell you what I think that everyone else should know about, which is RFID chips, which is about concentration camps, which is about the 9/11 cover-up, the possibility of that, which is about Big Brother watching you, which is about the police state, martial law, which is about all these types of things that are in our possible future. And if we don't do something about it, we're screwed. Because, I think it takes a lot of people and a lot of passion into putting something into something. And that's why I love We Are Change and what they do. And, that's why I want to follow them around, because they're trying to make a change. Even if they don't make a change, what they're trying to do is they're trying to go around, get people aware, get people to think, and to stop believing the corporate media hype, and to stop believing that it's about Democrats and Republicans. It's not about Democrats and Republicans. It's about up and down. It's about the poor. It's about the big business and wealthy people. That is what it's about. And I want to expose those lies. I want to... And see, I hope I'm not getting a little flustered. I'm getting a little passionate, I think. And that's what I think people need, is to get fired up and to get crazy and to start going out there and getting people aware of this stuff. So that's basically why I think there's an urgency right now. No one likes the draft. No one wants to be drafted into war with Iran or other countries. No one wants it to be nuclear war. Nobody wants it to be those type of confrontations. I think because of that fear, that's why I'm doing this. Mm-hmm. That's why I'm trying to make these films, because I have a fear of mankind, and we got to heal it. Let's heal it, In
your movie Illuminated, most of the subject matter, is it all based on something? Something you read about, something that is real?
Yes. The majority of it is, if not all of it. It's basically, the narrator is basically telling this man that, if he doesn't make a change for the better, we're heading towards hell, basically. I mean, I honestly believe that we're in hell. Because how can there be so much hate, so much violence? Where do we go wrong? Why is there so much of this garbage on TV? Paris Hilton coming out of jail and talking to Larry King and all this garbage. Who gives a fuck? I don't give a shit.
Right.
Maybe other people do, and they care to, listen. It's entertainment, though. I guess that's where entertainment has come nowadays. What's entertaining to me is films, and about art.
Well, do you think the news should be entertaining, or should they be reporting something that is actually newsworthy?
I think Fox News is ridiculous because it's like a Jerry Springer show, basically. Mm-hmm. It's getting to that point, and there's so much stuff that the news doesn't tell us. If you look outside the U.S. media and look inside and how people perceive us and what the news is out there that they don't tell us, it's frightening. And so people always say, people are always scared because what the news tells them. They say, well, when we don't attack Iran, they're going to get the nuclear weapon, and they're going to bomb us, and all stuff. And I'm like, dude, because of our foreign policy and because of our policies and going into Iraq and stirring them up for the last 10 years, of course they were going to want to attack us. But see, the news also, spills the beans. They always say, like, oh, well, we got to do something about it. We got to go to war. We got to fight these people, these jihadists. We got to, get them. As long as the news media has you scared, they have control over you. So as long as people stop watching the news and start doing things, I think we'll be much better off. And you also have these kids nowadays, playing computer games, going on MySpace, staying on there for 5 hours a day. When 10 years ago, we used to be outside and play games and be more active. But now it's a new generation, and it's unhealthy. People are eating shit. People are eating crap. They come home and they eat garbage. There needs to be healthier options. There needs to be a cleansing, I think, basically. Mm-hmm. I don't know. We're really in a lot of trouble.
Well, you said about the kids, though. I mean, I know when I was a kid, we would pretty much stay out till our parents would tell us to come in. And I just know just around my neighborhood, I never even see kids outside playing. Or when it snows, I mean, we would be outside all day during the snow, and it snows here, and I think they all stay inside and play the computer.
Well,
yeah, of course.
It's like a strange dynamic with the kids, because I've noticed that. And there's no interaction anymore. Like, kids don't hang out and do things and go and play. If they do get together, then they get together and they go and they play the Xbox, or they might do something on the computer. But there's really, I see a lack of, social skills with the kids. I work at a school, and if we have a school dance or something, the kids, they hang out with their own little groups. Nobody dances, and there's just really, that's what I've noticed, is, there's a definite lack of, just basic social skills with the kids.
Yeah, I agree. And parents have their own ways of running their own kids, and we're living in the digital age, and, everything is so fast-paced now. You got the Internet, you got all these Xboxes and PlayStation 3s and 2s and 8s and 20s. But so I think that's how it is nowadays. And, that's how some, parents are going to bring up their kids. And so I think a lot of it has to do with what kind of society we're living in right now as well.
Mm-hmm. I still got my Atari 2600, so I'm not up to date on this.
So old school, Neil.
Well, I know one thing definitely has an effect on is typing, is English. way people write, because I think it really a lot of that has to do with the internet, because people are used to typing LOL, BRB, and you constantly see people misspelling there, THIER. It's just constantly, all those things, there, we're, all that stuff is constantly misspelled.
Because it's the cool thing,
Right.
It's the cool thing to do right now, and that's what people want to do. They want to be BBL, be back later, and all these, But I think it's because people are now just too lazy to type haha, or or I'll be back in a bit or something, or talk to you later. They have to write TTYL. I think it's just the laziness, because you have a computer and it's just like, okay, well, you know what, I want to get rid of this conversation, I'll talk to the person later, TTYL. And you just fucking X out or minimize the window,
That made me LOL.
Exactly.
Well, anything you want to tell everybody before I let you go here?
Not really. I guess just, thank you guys for having me on, and, it's been a pleasure, and
we enjoyed
everyone else.
it.
Cool, man, and everyone else, just keep on doing what you're doing, especially if you're a filmmaker looking to make films, and, Godspeed. Thank you guys very much.
Well, be on the outlook for Scott Goldberg Part 3 sometime down the line.
Yes, well, let me know, guys.
All right. Can we keep you here for a second?
Yeah, sure.
This is Larry Zerner, Shelley from Friday the 13th Part 3, and you're listening to WithoutYourHead.com.